We're live. Happy Friday. First real Friday in January. I'm saying real Friday because first real Friday of the IT hour, January 10th. Oh, we're already 10 days into the new year. Are you remembering to write 2025 yet? Sort of. I am kind of. Welcome, everyone. We are glad to have you on the IT hour. Hari, welcome back. Welcome. And
Okay,
Jagadish, I think this is your first time on, is it not?
that's right. Yep.
All right.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
Yep.
welcome. We are glad to have you. All right, Brandon, I see you in the chat there. Welcome. Alan has said hello. Martin has said hello. We've got quite a few of you trickling in here, so we're glad to have everyone. I see some familiar names in the list there. Thank you all for joining us. I know it's been a little while since we've had the IT hour. It's been a bit of a break, but thank you all for coming back to join us. We are glad to have you and glad to finally be back online. It was a nice break, but boy, we sure did miss having our Fridays with the IT hour folks. So thanks for joining us. It has been a bit of a break, but I hope you had a good break. I hope you had a good holiday. Hari, did you work the entire time, or did you take a little bit of time off?
A little bit time off.
A little bit of time off, yeah.
Quality time, I should say.
Oh, good,
It's
good,
a little bit, yeah. Got good. Was able to spend good time with family. Two little ones. So it was all good, all good. Couldn't have asked for any better.
wonderful, wonderful. What about you, Jagadish?
Yep. Same. I think most time with parents. I think a little bit roaming around. My kids had exams, so not much of thing, but yeah, good
Happy,
break for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
happy.
yeah. Mine are no longer small, Hari. So enjoy that. Mine are gigantic teenagers. So, but we still had some fun together and had a good time. So it's nice to relax and enjoy family time. So definitely a good one.
Yeah.
Uh, I hope y'all out there had a good holiday. If you took time off, or even if you didn't, I hope you get to squeeze some time in there somewhere. I hope your new year is off to a good one. Uh, Tell us what you did there in the chat. I hope you got some good tech goodies. If you exchange gifts, I hope you got something fun. Took some time to go get something for yourself, or convinced your family to give you something fun. I didn't do a whole lot for techie gifts this year. We went for cooking and other things. My oldest kid is into cooking right now, so we went for stuff like that. Things to. Oh, Robert says went fishing. Oh, well, good. What kind of fishing did you do, Robert? Why don't you tell us about that? I used to do a lot of fishing when I was in California. I don't do so much here in North Carolina anymore, but I used to do a lot of saltwater fishing and fishing for tuna. And in this time of year, it would be like rock fishing and stuff, where we would do deep water fishing and bring up fish from the depths, which was always a lot of fun. My youngest got asked for a MetaQuest headset, and he was very excited to get that. Jamie says went to sleep. Well, okay, Jamie. I guess as long as you woke back up, Sleeping Beauty, I guess that's good. So you're back to work. Martin says got a new to me server to start a home lab. So eventually I'll get to that. Good. Oh, and Robert says freshwater bass. Nice. Brandon, yes, I did get them the Quest 3, and he uses it with Roblox. Still into Roblox, and he's enjoying that a lot. And yes, sleeping is always fun. Rhina says Martin home labs are fun. They can be fun. We do actually have a home labs label on the community forums, so you're welcome to post in. I think it's under the software and hardware. Um, I think that's where we have it. Rob will remember where we have that because we set that up for him. So you can use that label in software and hardware and talk about home labs there and ask questions and share with each other. And Sam says, good morning. And good morning, Sam. And continue to tell us what you did for the holidays or what you got for Christmas. Brandon says get some lens protectors and a better head strap. I will look into that. I haven't done that yet. He's mostly been just keeping it in his room, and so far he's being careful. But if you were to look at he wears glasses, and if you were to look at his regular glasses, at how dirty and scratched they are, yeah, I better get on those lens protectors and head strap like right away. Thank you for that tip. I appreciate that. All right, with that, in community, we've got quite a few things to catch up on, obviously, because it's been 3 weeks. A lot of it has been around some news recaps. We've got a couple of writers that are doing some news roundups for us in both security networks and MSP discussions. We'll put that in our show notes. And one of our employees in software and hardware has written a quick overview on how to convert DMG to PKG and sign package for deployments. We put a quick note about our G2 Winter 2025 grid reports. We did some placements in there and we said, thank you. We can't do that without you. And we appreciate y'all. And as a quick reminder, on the 28th, Jump Cloud Land is coming up. This is our first ever user conference, and we would love to have you there. If you have not registered yet, I just put the link in the chat. Please register. Please join us. It's only about a half-day conference, virtual, and we're going to have a variety of things for both direct customers and MSP customers as well. It's going to be really great. We are going to have the Jump Cloud Customer Awards. The Jumpies are going to be presented then. And we are busy scoring those entries this week. So very excited about that. And looking forward to having that all completed. I see your question. Hang on, Jamie. This is the thread, DMG to PKG and sign package for deployments. So there you go. But we are really looking forward to having you all at Jump Cloud Land. We've had a lot of great registrations. We're very excited to see so many people registering for that. So please join us. And like Harry said in the chat, don't miss the show. It's going to be great. And on the product releases side, now both of these have already been on the IT Hour, but we talked about Secure Admin Portal with higher authentication assurance MFA methods. That's now GA and live. So there's a post on the community about that. That was actually GA and live as of Monday. And then Baruch put a post on the community a little bit later in December about the new SaaS management update. See all apps and export. There's a post on the community about that as well. So those are both there for your enjoyment. Please go check those out. And those are the main community updates that we have. So I am going to hand it over to y'all to talk about Windows MDM policy management. Version 2. What's going on there?
A lot. And firstly, those who don't know me, I'm Hari from product devices team. I take care of Windows side of things, starting from enrollment to pushing the policies and managing the devices. So that's where I pretty much live my day at Jump Cloud. And today I have Jagadish, who's my engineering counterpart, who is the man behind getting these policies out to the production. So today we have set agenda. So we're going to look at although we all know what CSP and why we are doing it. I would also want to bring what's our vision we are looking at in releasing MDM policies in phased wise manner, and what's our pathway, and what are we releasing now as a part of phase two, and then what we're gonna release in in upcoming months, quarter, or year. And then we're going to talk about high level architectural insights, how we deal the policies, how do we capture the data from the devices, etc. And then we're going to quickly jump into a live demo and talk about the policies we have released. So moving on, yeah, we all know what's a CSP. CSP stands for configuration service provider. So we all know, but the thing is, it's the framework that Microsoft has released a few years ago, a couple of probably a couple of years ago, so as to provide better control on the devices. So the overall framework itself is far matured than the GPF framework, that provides a lot of benefits, seamless experience to the admin, and hassle free, or probably not being able to pay much attention on the user side, but everything gets applied on the device as and when the policies are received. So overall, it's a seamless lightweight channel which is on the MDM, that helps admin to be able to better control the devices. So that's all the framework all about. And yeah, we're gonna have our MDM server, and then have these policies, and then from the policies over the MDM channel, the policies are pushed to the endpoint, and the devices will start applying the policies. Whatever the policy values are set, they're gonna go and sit in the registry keys, and it will start applying on the device. So it's pretty straightforward, lightweight, architecture or protocol, whatever we can talk about or whatever we can call. But end of the day, that's much more mature and lightweight protocol, where we have adopted and started building policies on top of it. Quick look back, why we are doing it. So first thing and foremost, yes, let's talk about security. The framework offers more reliability, as the policies are well defined to manage the endpoints. Now, one prerequisite over here is, as of today, CSP framework supports Windows 10 and 10 and 11 devices. It do not support servers yet. We all know about that, and don't know if Microsoft is going to provide that support at any point in time. But we are all looking forward at any point in time if they come back and say that pretty soon we're going to support for server editions, nothing like it. But one of the prerequisites is the endpoint should be Windows 10 or 11. Professional, enterprise, education, business, IoT, these are all the editions that are supported. Home is kind of like left out, because it's more like an personal kind of an edition than the enterprise sort of thing. So home is still not considered to be supported on CSP channel. So coming back to security point, like I said, the framework offers more reliability as policies are well defined and to manage the devices. Therefore, the devices are more likely to be in compliance with the set policy versus the GPOs or whatever current policies we have. So that's what, and that's why we are bringing CSPs into the picture. Next, let's talk about scalability and performance. So deployment and processing numerous GPOs, or scripts, or any sort of commands at any point in time could hinder the system, or it could kind of create a chaotic situation to admins and also to users, where they'll have to either log out and log in, or they'll have to refresh, or be able to perform some activity on the device, so that the policies are applied effectively. So that's something that that kind of it basically hinders the whole system, and the whole channel, and adversely it will affect the endpoint performance and overall user experience as well. But CSPs are not subjected to these kind of performance issues, as long as the device, the endpoints are active and connected to stable network. When admin pushes the policy, the device gets the policies and values, and over the MDM channel. There is no agent etc involved here. It's everything on the MDM channel. So the devices will take the policy values and sets in the respective registry key values etc, and then the policy will start applying on the devices. Yes, we have some ifs and buts here, but majority of the time there is no procedures involved by the end user for the policies to be effective. And last year we have also as a part of first phase policies, we have also released something called as WNS, which is Windows Notification and Service, which is kind of a like push notification kind of a mechanism, where whenever any policy is saved and pushed to the devices or devices group or individual device, the devices would get a push notification, and the devices will start applying the policies in the registry, and it will start applying on the device. So we have that kind of a system already in place. So that's where scalability and performance would come into picture. Now let's talk about policy overlapping and conflict. So maintaining a coherent and well structured or efficient GPU framework may be challenging at at some point in time, or it could be lot of manual work involved to set so many configurations etc etc. But CSP framework does not, it's not in that way. So the framework would offer more granularity at every policy level, at every individual policy level, so that even if admin want to manage and control a specific functionality, he or she can go down to the nitty gritty of that specific functionality and set values starting from there to the top of the functionality, so that um, let me pick an example over here. Let's talk about Bluetooth, right? So Bluetooth comes with lot of lot of set of settings under it. So CSP does not just offer to enable or disable Bluetooth, but it also offers do you want to put it in discovery mode or not? Do you want to be able to get advertisements over Bluetooth or not? Or do you want to allow certain services? What kind of a services do you want to build a custom services? Everything can be managed and configured through CSP. So that's that where an admin can go down to the nitty gritty of the policies and start configuring them. And that's where each CSP has its own desired configuration and value, and that's the reason there wouldn't be any kind of an overlap or any sort of conjunctions within the policy framework. So as a result, there wouldn't be any unintended outcomes when the policies are applied. So it's pretty lightweight, and the framework offers ton of granular level of settings to manage the device. And last but not least, I would wanted to call it as an added advantage, because compared to GPUs, this CSP framework offers fine grained configuration. We just talked about it. Okay, so this will basically it empowers IT admins to be able to better configure a device and go deeper at platform level monitoring. So that's the power of CSP framework. Now also, the framework provides policies at the device level and also at the user level. Now, as of today, we are still supporting device level, but we have a vision to start supporting at the user level. Again, that's because of the CSP framework. So that's where because of all these advantages, yes, we are implementing CSP policies or MDM policies and Windows side of things. That being said, now let's look at what's our vision, what's our CSP policy adoption plan. So back in 2024, we released first set of policies which are focusing more on network related, because security is something that starts with network and followed by data and followed by some other third party or external connections, or plug and play kind of devices. So we first hit the core network based policies, and we have released that in Q3 2024. We have seen good adoption ratio from our customers, and that gave us extra energy and extra boost to start focusing on maturing our policy library. And that's what we worked in the second half of the year 2024, and made uh, some of the policies went EA right before holiday season kick started, which is 23rd December. We did EA, but yeah, I'm going to talk about what policies and all, but we want to continue to focus on improvising our policy library. And then we are calling it as Windows Policy Factory. But what we wanted to do, what we wanted to achieve is that whatever GPO policies we have as of today would be slowly moved to CSP channel, which is on MDM channel, and have a separation for servers and desktop policy. What it means is that we will still continue to support LGPOs slash GPOs, whatever it is, and then also have an equivalent MDM policies that we would want our we would want our customer admins to start configuring MDM policies to manage Windows 10 or 11 devices. Anyways, Windows 10 is scheduled to end of life in October 2025. Of course, there will be some extended dates to it, but the next big focus is Windows 11, 24, H2, 25, or whichever editions would come in. We would continue to support that on MDM channel, and yeah, GPUs would still continue to be there, and we'll start supporting for server editions because CSP framework still does not support for server editions. But yeah, ultimately that's our goal. And also we wanted to slowly migrate our customers from GPUs to MDM channel via scripts or any other better means that we could rely on. So that's yet to be planned, but that's our vision: slowly migrate the customers to MDM channel or CSP channel. And if at all they have server editions, they'll still continue to be on server edition. So we need to plan a lot of migration path that we have scheduled for, like second half of the year. But at the point in time, our fully focus is on maturing our policy library, and learn quite a bit from our customers, like what's missing and how can we bring better value to the whole policy management. So that's our single point goal at this point in time, which is maturing our policy library. But yeah, so this is how our vision looks like. And that being said, now yeah, so this is the list that you know um, we are looking at every day. So yeah, phase one, whatever we have released in 2024, they're already in GA. You all would have access to it, all policies. But let's now talk about the middle bucket that we are currently looking at, which is highlighted. So yeah, so as a part of maturing our policy library, um, this phase we are releasing application restriction policy, restricting file transfer over Bluetooth. Then config refresh, it's one of the newly introduced policy by Microsoft. So we quickly adopted. Probably we are the first in the industry to release this policy, maybe subjected to correction. And then we are also releasing custom MDM policy, where an admin could create their own policies at the device level, and manage them even better, or manage to create the policies which are not predefined as of today, MDM channel. And then when current we are also looking at time synchronization policy, which is Windows time service policy, BitLocker, and Defender policy. These are the policies that we aim to release as a part of phase two. And among the phase two set of policies, the highlighted ones are the one would go GA as early as next week, followed by BitLocker and Microsoft Defender. Now let's look at what are the benefits. What would these policies give an IT admin or an organization, so that they would be able to better manage the device. So let's look at application restriction. So with application restriction, what we are providing is that, of course, from software management, you have an ability to push MSI or be able to add an application from store. Now that we have app catalog, so we also manage third party patching of the apps. So you're all doing that stuff on software management. Now let's talk about the use case where you don't want to give access to some of the applications to your employees. Could be gaming applications, could be unauthorized applications, or could be some applications that are not authorized for them to work at their level as of today. So you might want to restrict some applications. So we are providing four different ways through which you could block or restrict user from accessing. One is like um, inbox applications, or we can also call them as built-in system apps. So you'll be able to select the list of system apps that come along with the device and disable some of the applications. It could be paint, or it could be some of the gaming applications, or it could be as good as like Microsoft Suite. Any application that comes along with the device can be restricted from usage. Then you have an option to add file extension, could be exe, dll, or msi, or we're also looking at ways to block some of the scripts like ps1, vb scripts, and whatnot. So through extensions, you will be able to block. The other way is be able to give a file path where a specific application or group of applications are installed. So you can basically give the file path and block the applications that are there under a specific directory or a specific folder. They all shall be restricted from accessing. And then last but not least, you also have a admin would also have a way to block applications from store. Like they might install some applications from store, example TikTok, or it could be some social media app or some untrusted application or some gaming app they have downloaded from store. You got to know about it as an admin, and you can block it. You can simply do a search, select, and add to the list and block it. So these are the ways we have provided as a part of application restriction policy. Now what it's going to do, of course you will have full control on the applications that are running on the device, because from software management you are pushing the applications. From policy management, you now have a way to restrict the application. So you have a app push, and then you have block list. So allow and block list. Now we are trying to bring a 360-degree story over there with the application management. And yeah, restrict execution of unauthorized applications is one of the big bonus or plus point that would eventually tie and become a story by itself. And then yes, reduce risk of malware infections, because we all know some person can put some application in store, the guy can install, or some gaming application which is available on some third party site, an enthusiast could download, install, and it would create boom, all data is gone, exposed to some other person or some other country, some server, etc, etc. So that can be reused. Then overall, what is the story we are going to tell is that helps to comply with the security regulations and industry standards. Just apps blocking it, you have very big advantage behind application restriction. Now let's talk about custom MDM policy. All right, so let me quickly go back to my previous slide. So overall, how many policies we have, including this mature CSP library? We have close to 10 MDM policies, but as of today, there are close to 3,000 plus policies available on in the documentation. That's huge. So yeah, how are gonna we be able to support some of the settings which are not pre-built? So as an IT admin, through custom MDM policy, can create MDM policies on their own. Of course, it needs a little bit of expertise over there, because you'll have to refer the documentation, look at what is an URI and what are the supported values, what file format or what format of data needs to be provided. Everything needs to be reviewed, re-reviewed multiple times, and then come back to the policy, put those values, and push the diff. Of course, our friend Jagadish is going to help us on all these things. He's going to give us a good demo on this policy. But yeah, configure MDM policies that are not part of current pre-built MDM policies, meaning you'll be able to build all 3000 policies. Isn't it cool? Yeah, of course it is. And what's the result? You will be able to better manage, better control the device. Ultimately, that's the key focus we are looking at with all the policy management or with an MDM. Of course. Now, moving on, OMA URI allows precise control over specific device settings, just like I mentioned. So the whole framework is designed in such a way. So when you are using custom MDM policy and trying to push some policy, of course you will be able to go down to nitty gritty levels of the specific setting, and be able to control the entire functionality and thereby the entire device. And of course, today you could automate, or you could build a custom MDM policy push to a device, and pretty soon you might want to add new devices. So you don't have to again configure or set anything. You just either move to the device group, or sorry, you just assign this already built in MDM policy to the device. So basically you're automating a complex device configuration, and it will eventually reduce manual effort whenever there are new enrolled devices. So it's all about automation. Be able to use it, reuse it, reuse it, reuse it. And whenever you see, oh, there's a new setting available, okay, go back to the same policy, change the values here and there, or add a new URI and do save and continue. So that's how you're going to function with custom MDM policy. And this is one of my favorite policy in the whole policy management. And then config refresh. Of course, it's newly introduced policy. And what it does is that, like, its only job is to ensure that the set values are always set as expected on the device, meaning it continuously refreshes the policy values that are set on the device. So what it means is that, okay, I want to I'm setting a policy like allow camera. I'm just taking a random example. I don't want to expose camera to all my employees for some reason, because I have some security data or something else. So what config refresh does is that it does a check for every 30 minutes, which is default, that we have defaulted to 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes config refresh will check the registry value and say that, okay, is it is it set as per expectation or not, is it set as per expectation or not. So it does the monitoring aspect of it. And what we're trying to do is that we are reducing administrative overhead in managing device configuration by automating the process of reapplication. Instead of reapplication, I would like to use the term refreshing and reapplying the same value again and again, again and again, so that the device would not go away from being compliant. So the device is always in compliant with the set policies, and thereby, like, everything is in control under IT admin. So that's the story. That's the benefit we're gonna bring in with config refresh. And Bluetooth allowed services, yes. Back in again, go back to my previous slide. So yes, in first phase we did release some Bluetooth configurations, but in this phase we went a little bit advanced and provided ways to configure the allowed services over Bluetooth channel. Like, it could be a keyboard, it could be mice, or it could be mice or keyboard, or it could be voice, it could be music and voice, or transfer files over Bluetooth channel, or like any other service uh, can be managed over Bluetooth services, can be restricted or allowed from GemCloud Windows policy management. So that kind of a level we went. And what it does, of course, it reduces potential risk from attacks, because when you disallow certain things, Of course, the devices will be intact with the set policy configuration, and they are safeguarded by whatever means it is. If certain services are exposed, for example, let's say file transfer is allowed over Bluetooth channel, well, I can start sharing proprietary information over Bluetooth to someone else, and that's a scary job. So we have means of ways to restrict all this Bluetooth level services centralized under one roof, that is Jump Cloud Windows Policy Management. So this is what we are bringing. This is what the value we are bringing with the set policies that we're going to release in phase two. Of course, we will talk more about BitLocker and Defender policies when we are there for the release. But for now, these are the policies we're going to release next week, and I am excited about that. That being said, yeah, this is our strategy. Currently highlighted policies are in EA already, but yeah, don't worry, policies will be out as early as on Monday. Time synchronization, it's currently work in progress, so that will also join hands with the other policies, and app restriction, transfer over Bluetooth, file transfer over Bluetooth restriction, config refresh, custom MDM policy, time synchronization. These are the policies you would get on 13th and 14th Jan. So that's what our strategy looks like, followed by BitLocker and Defender. And now we have been actively listening to our internal and customers, like, okay, we have list of policies all together. Is there a way that we could differentiate between agent and MDM? Yes, we are working on that. And pretty soon within Windows policy management section, there shall be another column that talks about what type of policy it is, so that it will give you a quick and easy idea of, like, what policy an admin is trying to configure. Is it MDM or is it agent led policy? So those are the two flavors of types of policies we already have, but we're going to add a new column there and call it out, so that an admin would clearly understand, okay, this type of policy is agent led, oh, this type of policy is an MDM led policy. So that's how he or she would get an idea by looking at the column. And we are aiming to release that uh, UI improvisation or enhancement, you can call it NAV, by end of this month. That's what we are aiming for, but it could happen as early as possible, or it could be at the end of Jan. But yes, you will be able to differentiate what policy it is even before you configure it. So that would be an bonus release in this month. That being said, I would hand it over to Mr. Jagadish to walk us through on the technical considerations, high level architecture, and followed by demo. Over to you, Jagadish. I'll still run slides for you. Just let me know when should I.
Sure. Thanks, Hari, and hello all. From engineering, and I've been with JumpCloud for a couple of years and majorly working on the policy development. So the idea is we'll run you through how the technical architecture looks like at a very high level, and then really jump into the demo to see how the major two policies, application restriction and the custom MDM policy, are going to be configured and work actually. Yeah, next slide is Hari. Yeah, so the Windows policies too, specifically the Windows MDM policies too, will follow, or actually are following the same paradigm as the rest of policies in JumpCloud. From the admin perspective, you would not be seeing much difference to access or configure them, but underlying, basically these are all developed on top of the Windows CSPs. That's basically we are creating a new set of templates, and those templates are actually having the configuration service provider information, and those would be basically are displayed on the admin portal, like if you guys are already using the JumpCloud console, and all the UI elements there are rendered based on the template configuration. And as the inputs are given, the configuration is going to drive actually the install, uninstall, or get of the CSP information. And as and when the Windows device applies this, we'll retrieve the information back on the policy success, and that will also be shown in the policy status tab in the admin console, basically. That's at a very high level, following the same paradigm of the jump cloud policies, with a change of how we actually handling the MDM CSPs from the Microsoft MDM. Yeah. Yeah, you can go to the next slide too. So this basically shows the same plan. It would be much more visible and easy when you see in the demo, but the access would be under the Windows tab when you go to the policy management. That's where you could actually search for the policy name specifically, and you will be able to configure the policy from there onwards. Yes. Yeah. And this would be how the application restriction would look like. It has multiple capabilities. You'll be able to block basically inbox apps. You'll be able to block applications based on some of the publisher rules. We'll come to that. What does that mean? Again, file paths and Microsoft Store apps. And this is on the custom MDM policy. And again, as we discussed, this is pretty advanced feature. So we need to be a little cautious and while we are configuring it. And I'll let you know some of the handy things, how you can look into the information while we are configuring this policy. Yeah. Yep, let's get into the demo. So what I'm planning in the demo is basically these two policies: application restriction and custom MDM. In the application restriction, we'll see how to block inbox apps which are coming with the Windows box actually, and similarly some of the file extensions like exe, msi, and DLLs, and block files in a specified file path. We'll see a PowerShell blocking also via this rule, and block also Microsoft Store apps, which I think people can actually download from the Microsoft Store and then try to use them, and that's possible too. And similarly, custom MDM URA, I'll show how to and where to look, this information from, and an example of how a screen capture can be disabled using this policy, basically. I mean, they'll not be possible to take a screenshot or a screen recording, basically, when this policy is enabled. Sure. So let me go and share my screen quickly. I think it needs to be stopped, I guess, Hari, still. I do see.
Yeah, I just stopped.
Not that.
Let me see if I can.
Yep, right. Looks like, is it gone now? Let me try. No, not yet.
Not letting you?
Yeah.
Yeah, all I did was remove it. It's still technically there. Yeah, Hari, I think you're going to have to
Refresh maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to require that again. Sorry. We were having a little tiny bit of trouble earlier where it wasn't quite letting Hari stop sharing. Okay, Jagadish, now you should be able to. There we go.
I got it.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. So this is my Jump Cloud console, and as I said, this is the policy management tab that we are seeing, and we'll be able to configure the policies from here. Before that, this is my Windows VM where I'll be showing how it's actually being applied and what's the result look like actually. So let me go ahead with configuring application restriction. I just searched for it here in the Windows tab, and I better name it also. There are 4 components here. Basically, if you see, search inbox apps and components, and these are part of Windows as Windows gets shipped. And these are any file extensions that we can block. I mean, any files with those extensions we can block, and we can block exe, DL, and MSI. And we are actually soon coming with blocking specific scripts also. PowerShell, VBS, and JavaScript, and command and batch files to there. Here, the file path, we can give a specific file path to block. It could be a file, a direct file name with the path, or it could be a directory. If it is a directory, every file underneath will be blocked. Every executable like any exe or a script, all will be blocked. This is direct search from the Microsoft apps actually, where we can search and block the Microsoft Store apps from this one. So let me search here to show you. I'm going to block an Xbox and the Microsoft Store itself in the first place. Before I actually apply this one to the device, let me just show you the Microsoft Store is all working good here. Similarly, if I launch an Xbox, it's actually being launched too, right? So let me apply this policy now to this device. I'll go and bind the policy with that configuration, and I'm actually saving the policy here. In general, it would get sync actually, but for the demo purpose, I'm going to run a manual sync on the device. The sync was successful. And now let's try to launch Microsoft Store. That's all. The store itself is blocked, so nothing can be downloaded from the store as such. So let me go to already installed application, which is an Xbox, and the Xbox is also blocked. And now let me come back to my policy again. I'm trying to block specific file extensions now. Above one was little straightforward and simple. The one rule about the file extension blocking is it works on publisher rules. So this will work only if the files are digitally signed. And most of the files are digitally signed from a corporate in general because they wanted to save any kind of malware or other thing intruding into their EXEs, right? So this is one way to block EXEs or DLLs or MSIs or even scripts if they're actually signed, actually, right? So now the big question is, any admin comes here and try to see how does he even come to know what is the publisher name, product name, and binary name, right? So in the documentation of the jump code, also it has been mentioned how to retrieve it. We can retrieve from the group local policy editor also, but I mean, much more easier way is to use a commandlet on the PowerShell. So the get app locker file information is the commandlet. We can use actually the path of the file where it is. I mean, it doesn't matter the path here. The idea is we're trying to retrieve the publish information and just try to get actual publisher information of it. So when you run this, it gives us the publisher name, product name, and binary name if it is signed one actually. So take this value, feed into publisher name. At least 2 values of these 3 are present. So I'm just giving a star for product name. What does that mean is it can match to any product name with publisher name and binary name matching to the 2 values that we have given. And this is an MSI. So I'm just going to block the MSI, select the MSI here. Similarly, I have another exe which is trying to set up a Chrome actually in the C column itself. So let me go ahead and block this as well to show that we can actually block an exe2. And that's it. The device is already bound, so I just wanted to save it and then come back and then sync it again. And then let me go here, go to where the files are present, and I'm trying to install this installer. So this is what happens. The system administrator set policies to prevent installation. So the MSI will not be installed, whichever has been blocked. Similarly, this was an exe and it's just this app also has been blocked. Okay, let me quickly go here. And I'm going to block the file paths. I'm going to do two things here to block the file path. One is have some test scripts here, part of this. And here we can give the complete path or a path with environment variables. These have been defined in the documentation too. For app locker, how and what are these environment variables and what does it mean actually. So I'm blocking everything under test scripts. Before I run the block, I'll just quickly show one or two to see how they are actually going to work. And I'm going to add another one, I think a favorite one for many people, to block the PowerShell itself actually. Okay, and so the PowerShell is actually present in this file path. And by the way, PowerShell can be blocked via the exe extension also if you retrieve publish information irrespective of the location of the file. But I'm just trying to show how we can do with file path 2 here. So let me go ahead and save this too. And yeah, it's already done the blocking, so that's why I just got blocked. And similarly, if I run any command, that also got blocked. You can see actually these things have been blocked. Now let me try to run PowerShell. That is also blocked as such. Okay. And the last one part of this, I'm just going to block actually Copilot from the Microsoft Store apps. And let me save that. And just let me sync that. Okay. I'm trying to launch the Microsoft Copilot, and that's been blocked as well. Okay. So that's on the application restriction policies. Let me quickly go to the custom MDM. So there are three values. I mean, we can add multiple of these policies, but a very informative note is you better actually group all policies of a similar CSP in the one policy. Actually, all URIs of one CSP in the same policy. So it will be easy for you to like troubleshoot and easy to kind of assign them to devices and unassign actually. Okay, I'm going to do prevent a screen capture with this policy. And how I'm going to do, so we need to know the CSP, what we are working on. So Microsoft documentation mentions actually the CSP and its values and the format, everything. I would suggest to take a copy of the URI from here directly and then paste it here and then go back and see what is the format type it is saying. The format type is 1 and the values it's supposed 0 is not allowed, 1 is allowed basically. And we don't want to allow any screen capture to happen. So I'm saying disallow it. Okay. And then before I bind this policy to device, I just wanted to show you, I'll open a snipping tool and I try to plus it allows me to take a screen recording or a screenshot basically, right? So let me go ahead and bind this policy. and then we just sync it. And go back, and you press. You see that little bit happened, but nothing, no way to actually take a screenshot of it. So it doesn't allow the snipper tool to take a screenshot or a recording because we just blocked it basically. Yeah. And that would be a great thing actually if we are trying to do a data privacy protection. It would be a nice thing to have in your bucket basically. It's just one example. Again, as you said, it's very a powerful advanced policy. So you better apply that on one or two machines to try before applying onto the whole set of Windows devices that we have. And we do support ADMX payloads also, and they can be configured however they have been mentioned in the documentation. But the payload has to be prepared for the ADMX as the syncML data payload, and that can be given basically in the policy, in the value basically when you're trying to configure. I think that's all from my side on the demo. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Jagadish. And yeah, that's it from our side on the policy management. Can't wait to release the policies as early as next week. Over to you, Benny.
Amazing. That's great. It looks like you were on top of the questions and answered them as they were coming in during the discussion. So it looks like we were mostly good. And we're right on time. We got about 3 minutes left here. Let's see, were there any other things in there? I think that was the configuration service provider. So yeah, Jamie got that as well. But yeah, we are all good. I do have some let's see, some IT news that I will drop into the show notes that we'll put in the community. Make sure you go check out CISA. They've had some new things since we last met. Always new things coming from CISA because you want to keep on top of those. Speaking of having all these policies and managing your security, it's important to keep on top of those. But thank you all for joining us. And again, Happy New Year. We're glad to be back. And we will see you again next week. Have a great weekend. If you are in any of the places where it is cold and getting ready to snow, here on the East Coast, there's a few places where we're prepping for some nasty weather. Stay safe. I know, Hari, you all don't have to worry about that over there. You're staying warm. And if any of you all are in California where all the fires are and stuff, please stay safe. I hope you are well. I know several people who have either almost lost their homes or some people who have. So our hearts go out to those of you who have. I know it's been very difficult there. I've been in California in past years where there have been lots of fires. So Sam, I'm sorry that you're being smoked out. When I lived in San Diego, there were at least 2 times where we had to evacuate or we were getting smoked out, and it was really awful. I got some really bad respiratory infections because of that. So I know how awful that can be. So I hope you get somewhere where it's safe. I'm sorry. Please be careful. Take care of your families. I hope y'all have a good weekend, and we will talk to you next week. Reach out if you need anything. Take care, all. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.